Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim, and our guest today is J-Man. So J-Man, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Howdy, folks. My name is Jerry Joyner, but I go by J-Man. I'm the host of Weed and Whiskey News. I'm the founder of Weed and Whiskey TV, and I'm the co-founder of the Buzz Brands. In addition to a few other things that we do. As you can tell, I've got quite a few whirls around the sun, so
Awesome. So I'm curious more about Buzz Brands, like what exactly that is and how you got the idea for it.
Oh, that's a great question, Dan. Well, it wasn't my idea. It was my business partner's idea to get into the legal, 100% legal THC product business as long as they're hemp derived. Everybody's seeing these drinks and gummies and things now. And I thank you. Because of Weed and Whiskey TV, I met a fella that said, "Hey, J-Man, I want to go into the legal THC business, and I want you to be my first partner ever." So if you don't know Antonio Swad by name, he came to Dallas with a few $1,000s in his car, bent on selling $5 pizzas in the Hispanic community in South Dallas. People said, "Antonio, you're crazy. You'll go broke." 100 locations later, he sold Pizza Patron, but along the way, he decided to put the chicken wing in the middle of the plate, and he founded a wing place called Wingstop. He's the founder of Wingstop. So, I got really lucky when he decided he wanted to get into the legal THC business and wanted me to be his partner. So we started off with gummies. Dan, we have an award-winning gummy. I can't even speak, and I haven't had one yet today. We won the 2023 Best New Product for the convenience store industry by Convenience Store News, the Bible publication for the 150,000 plus convenience stores. And in 2024, we won the Captain's Award for our now available Buzz Me Up, which is a THC caffeine drink. We also have Buzz Cream coming out this week. Yes, 4th of July week. We're gonna have it on in a few limited stores on 4th of July. Then it'll roll out to the 500 plus stores that we're in now in Texas, Ohio, and a few other states.
Awesome. So in terms of your business, are you mostly selling in these specialty retail stores, or is it direct to consumer? What does that look like for you?
Well, great question, Dan. We have a limited direct to consumer. We have an e-commerce site because if you're 21 years old in 45 states, you can go online and you can order weed now. THCA joint or gummies or drinks, tinctures. The world's really changed. Pew and Gallup recently had surveys that said over 80% of Americans think that adult use cannabis should be legal. Okay. And I'm somebody for half a century, I've been smoking weed every day, Dan. My birthday is April the 20th.
Okay, awesome. So you're saying that it's a small direct-to-consumer presence right now, but most of your business and focus is selling into these specialty retailers across the country.
Convenience stores, and specialty retailers. Antonio and I always envisioned the Buzz Brands as a convenience store product once the convenience store industry became ready for these products. Now, a lot of people don't know you're here in Texas, just like I am. There are 7,292 licensed hemp retailers just here in Texas. So that's a vape shop, a smoke shop, a convenience store. If you go look at that list, you'll find Walgreens is on there, CVS is on there, Murphy USA, Walmart, Trader Joe's, all these places. They got in the CBD business a few years back. And unfortunately, in the convenience store world, it didn't really work because people didn't really feel anything. So I spent $3 or $4. I didn't really feel anything. And so it kind of flopped. And the convenience store industry has been a little leery. And of course, with legislation being the way it is. So we think we're still 18 months out, although we have national retailers that are in the convenience store space that are vetting our product currently, as are huge distribution channels to get our product out there. But in the beginning, we had boots on the street. We just went store to store. Hey, would you like to sell our product? You got a license, you can sell our product. You got our license, you can sell our product. And we built up to over 500 stores in 6 months.
So is it more so 500 independents, or do you sell to like any large chains? What does that look like?
No, we have some chains, mostly in the 20 to 25 store range, maybe smoke shop, maybe a vape shop, maybe an independent fuel company. But it looks like an Exxon or a Chevron outside the store. It says Exxon, Chevron,
Right.
Mobil, but these are independently owned. And so they're a little easier for us to get our product on the shelf and to work with those people. Luckily for us, as a business, we're not an undercapitalized business or a business that's got a lot of debt, which many people in the THC space, whether it's regulated marijuana or on the hemp side, so we got really lucky in that. So we were able to work with the retailers and giving them credit if they needed to have credit, to extend them some terms to see if they could sell the product. And, a little place like Green Stop over in Lakewood started with 1 box. Then on a Tuesday, on Friday, they said, hey, come pick up your check and bring me 2 more boxes. Now they're buying a case at a time. So we're really excited at the way that things are going, because it's the name of our gummy is Buck-a-Buzz. 5 gummies, $5. It's a $5 play, which it's the same Delta 9 THC 10 milligrams that many people are selling for $20 a pack. So we're a real price leader in this.
So you mentioned that you have a big facility in Deep Ellum. So do you sell directly? Is it like a storefront also, or what is that?
No, we don't want to compete with any of our retailers. Wizards in Deep Ellum carries our product. They're the closest place to us. Our facility is for Weed and Whiskey TV, for the Buzz brands, and my wife and I own a couple of other businesses: Healthcare Art Consulting and Quality Art House. Healthcare Art Consulting, we put artwork in hospitals all over the country. And same thing we do with Quality Art House, only it's for corporate clients. So we're a real entrepreneurial outfit here. We've got a bunch of people wearing different hats, working on all the different things.
So is it more so like manufacturing in an office in Deep Ellum?
Yeah, it's office space. It's we've had this space since 2007 for our art consulting businesses, and that's what we've been doing, Dan. This the Weed and Whiskey TV thing. If I said Willie, who would you think of?
Willie Nelson.
Okay, well, that manifested in Willie Nelson's backyard, ironically, because my Harley riding buddy got cancer, and he was about to have his demise. I got him down to Willie's. We were down there enjoying a little time there, and one thing led to another, and now I got a fledgling TV network called Weed and Whiskey TV, and we put a weekly news show out called Weed and Whiskey News each week. So,
hey y'all, it's Dan Melnick, the CEO of Zing. And I wanted to share a special offer for all of our listeners. Right now, if you need software development services, we'll give you 2 weeks of a free trial. Do you need to update your website? Do you want to build a mobile app? Do you want to update something that you've been working on for a long time? We've worked in a high-level technologies like AI, machine learning, blockchain. So shoot me a text, 817-874-2208. Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah. So in terms of buzz brands, like, it's exciting, right? Because as you said, legislation is changing. People are becoming more adapt to those types of products. So in terms of like when you're actually selling in these stores, how do you get trials? Is certain packaging? Do you give out samples, couponing? How do you actually get trial for your customers in those stores?
Great question, Dan. The drinks, there's a term called sips to lips. So you got to let them taste it. So we got little, we're legally selling drugs too, Dan. So you have to think about that. We give you a free sample of our legal drug to taste. And then, hey, if you'd like to buy some, they're here at the retailers. Our 5-pack gummies, we have one-offs that we do. We do a lot of store activations. We got 12-foot tall cans that we inflate in front of the store. We got a real nice table with a skirt. We bring a bunch of product in, and we've probably done a couple of hundred of those in the last 3 months here in Texas and in Ohio, which is where our biggest footprint's at.
So do you go yourself personally, or do you send people out? Like, what does that look like for you?
No, we got people like Barbie Quinn and Lauren Kiefer. They're much more attractive than I am at going out there. You know, we do some TV stuff, obviously, because we got 145,000 partakers on Weed and Whiskey TV. So we do a lot of promotion. And one of the things I did, Dan, because we just had our 100th episode last Friday. We dropped our 100th episode. At about episode 40, I said, I'm trying to get people to give me money to talk about their product on my TV network, right? And I said, Antonio came to me, got this Buzz Brands idea. If I can't blow that up, you ought to not advertise with me. So I kind of quit asking for people, for advertising. I'm really going to focus on this. We won a couple national awards. We got a big footprint now. Really, things are starting to gel for us. So we did a big activation at South by with the drink, and so we know that promoting in the stores is a big thing. It's a great way for people to get to try our product. But we also know that online, now that things have started to really loosen up, when I started Weed and Whiskey TV, Dan, I'm gonna be as big as Netflix. I'm a bunch of money to advertise on social and online and Google Ads, and all these people are gonna come sign up and pay me $4.20 a month to watch Weed and Whiskey TV. Well, I got up to 1,000, 1,500 subscribers. Look, my belly's bigger than that, man. I eat more than $4,000 a month, probably. So it wasn't a sustainable business model. But because of my other things, I was able to keep it there. And so roughly 2 years ago, we moved to an AVOD, an advertising video on demand. In other words, no longer you had to pay us a subscription. We had advertisers giving us money to monetize. And so you got to watch our content for free by giving us your email address. So we put promotions out, free Weed and Whiskey, and people would sign up. And then they'd cut our cojones off, and we couldn't advertise anymore. So we'd pivot and do a different thing. It's exciting because I know people like Zing help people that are in the space that I am to navigate these different e-commerce platforms and what they will and won't allow to have happen. So
for sure.
Traditional linear advertising is still kind of tough for people in the cannabis space.
Yes.
So we hope that they come to us to advertise.
No, 100%. Yeah, you have to go outside the box because, as you said, right, Google and Meta are still not the most cannabis friendly as they should be. So, with that being said, is it really more so like you leveraging Weed and Whiskey TV to promote your products, or are there other channels as well where you've really been able to drive traffic to Buzz Brands?
Yeah, there is other traffic, but by design, we've not turned on the faucets whatsoever to drive our e-commerce business.
Right.
Because we've always saw this as a convenience store product. I've got a good friend, David Charles. He has a brand called Hello Mood. They're up in Oklahoma City, but they sell 100% legal hemp. Forbes said he did $100 million in 2023. Wow. And many of the regulated marijuana people are now getting into this hemp space also. But we are kind of really the leader of the pack in the convenience store industry, the 7-Elevens, the Wawas, the Circle Ks, the Quick Stops, the racetracks. This is really where we see our market and where we want to be.
For sure. So obviously nowadays, many companies leverage high-level technology like AI. So I'm curious, is that something that you're currently using? And if not, where do you think they can come in and give you value?
Well, you know what? I'm a plain talker and a straight shooter, and we started using the AI a little bit a few months back, trying to see how we could work and use it within our episodes, how we create content. And for us, Dan, sometimes it seemed like we were editing it as much as it was giving us the benefit of speed, because we really tout ourselves, like I said, as plain talkers, straight shooters, and we don't try to sugarcoat anything. We don't try to blow any smoke. Blow any smoke. We're Weed and Whiskey, And so we've implemented it some. I can tell you that to elaborate on that, my wife in our art consulting business have been using the AI to help create donor recognition walls for hospitals, something that would take our team 2 or 3 weeks. They're very skilled, but now the skill is knowing how to write the prompts for it to give you back the data that you want. We played around with it a little bit and making some content. We're looking at doing a clip show because we got a bunch of new shows on Weed and Whiskey TV, and using an AI platform to just type in what we want the avatar person to say about those episodes, upload those clips, and see what happens. So we'll be releasing that in the next 4 or 5 weeks and getting feedback from our partakers. Do they like it or not? Did they notice?
That's awesome. So what would you say is like the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started Buzz Brands?
The one piece of
advice
I knew before starting Buzz Brands?
Yeah.
That's a great question there in itself. One piece of advice I wish that I knew that would have been the difficulties of navigating 50 states to provide a safe, affordable, effective product and trying to not have to have 50 different labels. You know, for any small entrepreneur, cash flow is king, capital is king, and I was very fortunate when we started this that wasn't an issue or a problem that we've had. And
Right.
While we've spent the majority of our money on inventory, there's been more than should have been spent on the legalities things with some of the top attorneys, cannabis attorneys in the country, to help make sure that we're both in compliance with those states now and abreast, Dan, of what's coming up in the future. The example I'll use is Louisiana. They just changed some legislation in Louisiana. Our Buzz Me Up drink, 100% legal, good to go. We had to add the word beverage to our can. Okay, like somebody didn't know that was a beverage. You're gonna open it up and drink it, but but to be compliant in Louisiana, we had to have the word beverage. Our gummies are too potent because Louisiana went to a 8 or less milligram dosage, and so navigating those things. If I'd had a crystal ball and saw anything, it would have been to have better insight on how costly that part of it was going to be. You go into the thing thinking, okay, I make one label. Okay, it's got all the FDA stuff. It's got all the ingredients. It's got the certificate of analysis. It's got everything you can imagine.
Right.
But then all these little, in OJ Man's opinion, kind of picky nuances, you know, like it says distributed by the Buzz Brands, Dallas, Texas. Oh, well, you need to have 10999 Tettle Street on there also. So, well, it's on the QR code. There's a plethora of information, and everybody after the pandemic, they know what a QR code is. Go to that. Well, and so now you got stuff so small, you got to get a magnifying glass to read it on the label, you know.
Wow.
And the other thing is, even though I've been in this space for a while, I had no idea, both in the Buzz Brands, which we've been operating as a year, but we've really only been on the street for 6 months. We started selling right after right at the beginning of the year, is the plethora of illicit or black market or legacy market or street dealer market, whatever you want to call it. You know, so much cannabis is being consumed in America legally, but it pales in comparison to the amount of cannabis that's still being sold illegally. As here in Texas, if you want regulated marijuana that's the same what you would get in California or Colorado or any of the states that adult use is legal. Now, New Mexico, Oklahoma, I mean, almost all the states touching Texas, you have to illegally buy that. Now, Dallas just put a big decriminalization thing with less than 2 ounces. It's down there in Austin where y'all are at, you know, as long as you don't blow the smoke in somebody's face, they're pretty friendly for you guys down there. But it's still a problem for the consumer. You know, you go someplace, you do something legal, you come back to someplace, they drug test you. Now, you're not high, but you might have THC still in your system and be subject to losing your job. So
yeah, it's crazy.
You know, I had a little bit of knowledge, and now it's just like, wow, this is so convoluted. It'll be really exciting to see how people are pulling together to try to get the legislation in the way that it should be. You know, we do a lot of stuff with veterans on our show. We do some programs with veterans with the Buzz Brands, and those guys fought to provide the freedom for me to be able to have Weed and Whiskey TV. And it's exciting to see how the VA has started relaxing their restrictions on soldiers that use cannabis instead of taking pharmaceuticals or getting too heavy on the alcohols. But as you can see, Dan, I love to talk. I guess that's why I got a face made for radio and I'm on TV.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, it's a lot of very exciting stuff. So speaking of that, if we're going to have this conversation again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going for Buzz Brands?
Oh, in a year from now? we'll be in concert venues, Live Nation. You could go and you can get a Buzz Cream, a 4-ounce low dose gelato style ice cream to enjoy a little buzz from. These drinks, our drink is a category in itself, Dan. We're THC and caffeine. There are 320 that I know of hemp-derived beverages in Texas now that are manufactured here in Texas. We're still the only one that has the combination of THC and caffeine. So we're a huge hit with the surf crowd. But we have a shot that's coming out. We have a stick powder for hydration. And we see that our gummies continue to be our strong seller. So our goal a year from now would be 5,000 points of distribution. We'll be to over 1,000 easily by the end of the year. And as soon as a couple of these big distributors come on board, it'll really change things. You know, and that's the key thing to whatever your product is in this consumer packaged goods, whether it's a THC product like we have, or it's a non-alcoholic drink. Getting into the distribution of the national distributors like a Comark, like a McLean. These guys touch 50,000 convenience stores. To try to do it yourself, which we've been doing, you know, it's really costly. Drinks are heavy. They're hard to get out to the places, and so we think before the end of the year we'll have those in place, and by the end of 2025. Buzz Browns will be that won't be as popular as the Reese's peanut butter cup, but maybe as well known.
Awesome. So somebody watching this wanted to reach out to you or is interested in Buzz Brands. Do you mind sharing your website or social media? I guess best ways to get in contact.
Yeah, thebuzzbrands.com. Is our website. You can find out about me at imjman.com, or you could sign up for free at weedandwhiskey.tv and watch some of our weekly news episodes, some of our other shows that we have. We have Medicaid Ohio, we got Citizens Green TV, we got a thing with Grunt Style, it's a big veteran thing. We have Higher Than Space, these two aliens that came down to take Woolies Reserve Cannabis and his Jim Beam whiskey. And so we got a lot of fun, a lot of education on there, and we'd encourage anybody to come check us out.
Awesome. Well, J-Man, thank you so much for your time today.
All right, Dan. Talk to you soon, man. Y'all have a great day.
Sounds great. Thanks. You too.